Well, good morning everybody and welcome to a Sunday morning show all the way from the Berkshire.
Yeah.
We've made our way up here because we're filming with today, well, he's a top 100 coach and he has been since probably the 90s.
But he does keep it under the radar, doesn't he? He's not
very much so
big on social media.
No. He
doesn't promote himself like other coaches do and would.
No.
Which I quite like.
I really like that as well, and he's old school in some ways. He just doesn't want to be in that sort of limelight, does he? He just wants to go about his business, do his own thing. His name is Mitchell Spearman.
Because the one thing we know in golf is there's always an uphill point to the green. Everything to the right of that's right to left, everything to the left of that is left to right. So we kind of always know that. That's the general rule of thumb. And so before we even get behind the ball, we could probably bet there's going to be an uphill slightly right to left putt.
I would say he's a serious coach. He's not what I would call, without being disrespectful, an Instagram coach.
I almost get the sense that being just past the flag to the right leaves myself just maybe a little bit of an uphill putt, rather than playing around with that front edge too much.
So what a lot of players look at right now is what we call the pizza shot. So you have a pie around the green, and what you want to do is be in the triangle part of the pie, which is the least amount of break, which is the uphill, and you've identified that as being the right side. So if we were on the left side of this, we would be outside the pie, and we would be downhill breaking putt. So you want to get yourself in that quadrant of the pizza.
He has actually coached some of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
He knows some of the biggest players that have ever played this game. And today we're catching up with him. We're going to have a little 9-hole kind of playing lesson with him up here at the Berkshire. And then Bernie and I are coming out to play we're going to play 12 holes. We've got a long way to drive back home. So we're going to try and get 12 holes in on the red course. We're going to go out on the blue course with Mitchell and see how the day gets on.
So I'm going to spin now.
Yeah, I know, it's perfect. This is exciting.
Be good. I know what it is. What's that driver? Oh no! Last Sunday morning show had sort of 35,000 views.
Amazing, right?
But quite a lot of those people viewing it have not subscribed to the channel, so please
40%.
subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel if you're
40%.
watching, because it does make a difference.
Massive difference.
The growth and what we can do and what Dan can do and how we can move the channel forward. So if you're enjoying the videos, then it's your duty. It's free of charge. You won't get any spam emails or anything like that.
Nothing.
Just subscribe. It makes such a difference. Oh, that's alright. Lob wedge. Is it? Oh, it's clipped it. Pick it up. Go on. Take it away. I've seen enough. Let's hear the grown man cry.
Oh, we've had a lot of fun out here today. 12 holes round the red course.
Brilliant game as well, I love it.
It's a great game, isn't it?
Funny.
It's a lot of fun because it makes you hit different types of shots. Like you have to be a bit more imaginative coming out of different positions, and
also as well, I think it brings, there's 4 or 5 shots between us handicap wise.
Yeah.
And I think it brings us down
closer.
to almost level playing field.
Yeah.
If we went out and played stroke play, you'd win off scratch 9 times out of 10, but this really brings it together, so I quite like it. It's good.
I think your imagination with this game is right there, isn't it? Like you could do this all the time, I think. Jordan Main, I'm back.
Crikey, Daniel, you can't be sneaking up on me like that.
So back in the office, and as we all know, it is going to be the Open this week coming up. And you've got something quite special to share with everybody, haven't you?
Oh, I do, Dan. Right, so I brought my old desk in for my little nice tidy merch station, so I can prepare everything for you guys when you hop onto the shop and order it. And considering it is the Open this week, arguably the best major of the year.
I think if you're British, I think you've got to say that it is best major of the year. However, people might argue that maybe the Masters is something that's... I feel like the Masters has crept up on us, hasn't it, as the best major.
Yeah.
And can I even say British Open anymore? I mean, when I grew up, it was always known as the British Open. Now it's known as the Open.
The Open. So this week, with code OPEN, you can get 10% off your order. So enter it at checkout, code OPEN, 10% off your order.
Talking of the Open flag, that one there, St George's, that one's sent in by Paul Tolley. He was very kindly sent that one in, so thank you, Paul. I feel like I will probably bring back another flag from this year's Open.
Got to be done, isn't it? You collect flags like I collect head covers and putters.
I didn't know you were a putter collector.
Yeah,
I knew you were a head cover collector.
I'm a putter trier. I'm not a putter seller, so over time you collect them. Just in, by the way, DHG pitchfork with a Sunday morning show ball marker on one side, and on the back side, DHG.
Preparation this week, as I'm in here, preparation is all about the Open. Now, for some of you that know, we last year went to the 150th, as you can see right there, and we put together a video for FootJoy.
Don't you people knock? Yeah, I guess I'm sharing with a couple other people. We got a little phone charger over here. Obviously nice little shade. I got some nice little rugs in here. 150th at St. Andrews. Seeing all the past champs here this week. Obviously when it's at St. Andrews, a lot more come back. There's just been nothing like it. I mean, it's, you know, the history that's here, obviously being the home of golf, but on top of that, you know, this golf course is, you know, you can shoot 15 under or 15 over in a heartbeat. There's no greater honor than obviously being the champion golfer of the year, but on top of that, doing it at St. Andrews just makes it that much better. I've already been getting a bunch of compliments from the crowd this week. You know, I think it's really cool that we do this, obviously, for all the majors, but this one in particular, just given, you know, Harris Tweed in Scotland, these are pretty awesome.
Now, FootJoy took over and sponsored the R&A campsite up at St Andrews, and they're doing exactly the same this year at Hoylake, and they have kindly asked us to come up and do some more filming for them. So we're going to be putting together their logo. We're going to kind of animate the logo. So they've created us a logo. We're going to then make it move a little bit, and I've got Johnny on the case of putting that together, and I will be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So for some of you that are actually heading up to the campsite, and I know a few of you have messaged me, that's when we're going to be there. So make sure you come over and say hello. I don't want you hiding out, not coming over to say hello. Make sure you come and say hi, and if you're lucky, very lucky, you might even get a beer out of Lester, because he's coming as well. Out on the golf course. I don't very often come out onto the golf course, to be honest, to do any practice, but confidence is pretty low right now. I'm actually come out because I wanted to work on bits of my swing, but also I want to test out the new G5 watch from ShotScope. So I get loads of messages when it comes to GPS units, or should I use a rangefinder over a watch? Well, I was always a rangefinder player. I was always somebody that never wore a watch, didn't like wearing a watch when I was playing golf, but I've kind of got used to wearing a watch now. It's so easy to use because it's just there on your wrist. You don't have to dive into your golf bag and grab your rangefinder out. It's there on your wrist. So when I'm filming and playing, it just speeds things up for me personally. So another thing that I'm out testing on the golf course at the moment is 5-wood. You'll see that it's not white, it is black. I'm testing out the TSI 1 5-wood, 18 degrees. Now, I've explained this before that Titleist were looking to try and get me into a 14 clubs. I've been testing now this TSI 1 for a little while, but I've got a little bit of a secret that I need to tell you about. There is a video coming out with regards to my fitting and how that process went about and what I've actually been fitted into. However, I've had a little play with the old TSI 1. Haven't told Titleist about this yet, but I will do. TSI 1 head is about 20 grams lighter than your kind of, let's say, TSI or TSR 2 and 3. Now the problem with it is that the weight port is right at the back, and if you put more weight into this head at the back of the club, it just gives it more MOI, makes it a little bit more stable. But it also generates maybe a little bit more higher launch and a little bit more potential, more spin, which is not what I need. So I've kind of put some extra weighting inside the head of this club. It's not recommended, but it's something that I've been playing around with to try and get my launch down a little bit and my spin down a little bit to make it feel a little bit more like my old TaylorMade RBZ. So far, so good. Haven't received the new 5-wood yet, so I'm going to put that to the test when it finally arrives, but I just thought, as it's an old demo one, I would give it a go and see how we get on with it. And in other news, Joe the Pro has decided not to continue and compete in the Challenge Tour event at St Mellion. For those of you who have watched the big match, you would have seen that all unfold, and the winner picking up that £5,000 prize fund and an opportunity to play at St Mellion in the Challenge Tour event. Now, Joe the Pro going through a process at the moment where he's looking for a job. His focus is purely on trying to find that job, so his playing has taken kind of a bit of a back seat, and he felt that it was only right for James to continue on because he's done very well in a couple of recent Challenge Tour events himself, so him playing in that event. So we're going to support James in that event, and I'll get some videos together for you on that. But I just wanted to give you a heads up as to why Joe has decided to sort of step back and let James go through and get him to continue to compete, because ultimately, you know, Joe's had a go at trying to play a number of times. It's not something that he's overly comfortable with. He's not a big fan of all the travel that comes along with the playing side of it, and he's lost a little bit of confidence recently, which is why he's going to find himself a new job. So we wish him all the best with that, and he will continue to do some stuff with us on the channel, but we will be following James's progress at St Mellion when we get down there in a couple of weeks to do some filming. Oh, they've arrived.
I can't even imagine what's in there, Dan.
They have arrived.
Oh, by the way, nice haircut.
Yeah, it is a little tight, this one. Went for a grade 1 just to, you know, make it last a little bit longer. Okay, let's open it up. There they are, the new T-Series. In fact, am I actually allowed to even talk about these clubs yet? James? Am I actually allowed to disclose any information about the new T-Series irons that have just arrived? Okay, so I can show the audience the irons, I can't really talk about the tech. Fair enough, that's exactly what I'll do. Cheers, mate. So, I have now had permission to share with you the T100 irons. Now, I've got a full set in this box, T100, slightly different shaft than what I've been using, well, forever, basically. I've gone for a Modis shaft. Slightly different feels to what I'm getting out of my old Project X, but I've gone for the T100 irons, the new T100 irons, but with a little bit of a twist at the top end, because I've also gone for the T200 iron. Well, I do actually have the T200 4 iron, which is actually a 3 iron head with a 4 iron shaft in the bag currently, and I've loved it. So I was really looking forward to testing out the T200 irons when I got up to Woburn. But the T100 other clubs, they're the ones that came out really, really good. I wasn't a massive fan of the old T100 iron, I've got to say. I tried out the T100S. Paul's stolen those, so they're all in good hands. But the new T100s, the feel off the face, the control that I was getting from them, absolutely superb. So I'm just going to go down to the studio, hit them, maybe get some numbers from them for my own use, but give you a little bit of B-roll of how they're performing for me. Have you seen them yet? Have they been round?
Yeah, well, no, I've seen images floating around.
Yeah.
But they look very clean, just normal type of stuff, really. 215.
Not bad.
For a 4 iron.
I really like these. The shaft in them is going to make it feel definitely a lot softer for me.
Yeah, well, you've been using Project X, haven't you?
Which is, I didn't realise like how like hard they feel kind of off the face.
Bamboo.
With that, yeah, with the shafts. But these, the combination I think of the new head and the shaft, I think actually feels slightly softer than my blade as a sensation.
A statement, Dan?
It's a huge statement, yeah. So I've got the 4 iron in the T100 and I've got the 4 iron in the T200 to kind of put to test and see which one kind of flights it and gets it out there a little bit better. The problem I get sometimes with some of these cavity back and even bladed irons, when you get up to sort of 5 irons and 4 irons, they can start to come together.
Yeah, that's right. You
close
see
up a little bit.
Distance
gaps.
gaps.
So I'm hoping that going into T2s, well, that's going to be quite loud, isn't it?
Good old ambulance.
I'm hoping going into the T200 it might just spread that gap a little bit more for me between the 5-iron and then the 4-iron, which then hopefully will blend up into the 5-wood.
Lovely stuff.
Very, very nice.
Happy, boy?
I'm very happy.
Very good.
And you're unwrapping some new clubs, it's always nice, isn't it, Aaron? Oh, well, I hope the weather gets a little bit better leading up to the Open, because this today has been pretty horrendous down here. So this week on the channel, we have got the K Club. We're back at the K Club. Myself and Lee are going to be doing a little scramble around the North course, which is the Ryder Cup course. So I hope you enjoy that one. I'm heading up to the Aramco series to see the ladies play this week. I'm taking Charlie, my daughter, up there just to get a feel of women's golf. She's around a lot of men's golf, and I just wanted her to get a bit of a feel as to what women's golf is all about. So we're going to go and enjoy that this weekend. And then on Sunday, when you're watching this, we are heading to the Open Championship. Enjoy the Open, and I'll see you next Sunday.